Is this the one that's gonna fit me?
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, he thought I was skinnier than I am.
Yeah, I don't know why I fucking...
Yeah, why did he think I was skinny?
Kind of
Whatever you want.
tight. Here, so when you do that, like I would flip it around. Something like that.
Okay.
Oh, like this.
Like this?
Yeah. Stand on this side of it.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. There you go.
Some might say that he's the you of leather making.
He's the me of leather making.
Some might say.
Not that many people though. Not that many people would say that.
I know. Nobody says that. No one says that.
Beautiful technique, Danny.
Thank you.
You should do this for a living.
It would be nice. Arts and crafts in recess. And PE. You little noodle. Yeah, dude, look at that long ass strand. Noodle.
Love it. Is that where I started?
Yeah, I think we start on this side. Cool, so now we're going to get on the sewing machine. Let's lace this thing.
I'm gonna stab myself. I don't trust myself with sharp objects. A needle just blasts my finger.
Like through your nail.
I laced it up with the natural. But
I
like,
feel like that would look nice.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah?
Let's go do that. We'll do it like this. So we'll let you hit this straight away, and all you're gonna do is
Hit that shit.
I'll hit that shit.
There you go. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Is that going fast?
Yeah, it's okay. There you go.
This is so cool.
When we get to here, I'll take over.
Get a little cocky.
Let it run. Let it run.
Pedal to the metal on this sewing machine.
I'll take over from there.
Okay, it doesn't look awful.
No, it
There
looks
we
great.
go. Proud of myself. Oh wow. It's like the leather daddy.
The leather daddy.
Leather daddy.
I got diagnosed bipolar in 2019. Wow. So it's been like 3 years now. And I think, honestly, like, people always say to get help or whatever, and I never really understood, like, what that meant. Like, obviously, you can go to a doctor, you can go to a therapist, and you do all that kind of stuff, but when it comes down to it, like, honestly, like, just going to the right people and getting a diagnosis has helped me understand my brain so much better. And at the very bare minimum, even if you're super against therapy or super against meds or anything, but yeah, I don't know, just like the knowing what I'm going through and like having an understanding of like why I feel the way that I do, it's like knowing yourself better too. And I've done therapy, I've done meds and all of that, and throughout all of it, I'm just kind of glad that I took that initial step, because when I'm going through stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm manic right now, or oh, I'm depressed, and I know I'm gonna get through it. And you know, having more of like a objective view of my own mental health has been very helpful. Because before I went and got help, I was like, I would just feel things, and I just thought I was crazy and, you know, emotional, and neurotic, but in reality, there is a name for it and a diagnosis for it and ways I can get better. So, yeah, it's not really a one-size-fits-all thing. There's a lot of trial and error and self-care and a lot of grace for myself, I think, and learning, like, I don't think I'm ever gonna be 100% neurotypical. You know, I think I'm always gonna have part of me that very much feels my bipolar disorder, but kind of learning that's okay. And, you know, as long as I'm treating it well and, you know, I'm not harming myself or others, then, like, it's okay. And I just gotta try and be a little bit better every day. So, yeah.
How do you think weightlifting plays a role in all that? And if it doesn't?
No, it definitely plays a role. I think weightlifting has been my constant throughout life. Like, I've gone through so many different changes in my life since I started weightlifting. And no matter what, I always know I'm going to the gym every day. And it's always something that I enjoy, even on the hard days. Like, I really, truly enjoy weightlifting. I think it's a source of passion for me. Like, I'm very passionate about just training every day, but I'm also passionate about my goals, and having that outlet gives me something to look forward to and not overthink it too much and just put in the work, which I really like. And I think anyone that struggles with mental health especially needs something that they can kind of pour themselves into a little bit, because if not, I'd be way too in my head. Like, I'd be going insane if all I did was, like, go to some mundane job every day and go home and sit on my bed and read. Like, I like reading and stuff, but if that was all I did, I don't know. I just think that having something that you're truly passionate about really helps.
What's something that you wish someone would ask you? Like, what do you want to let people know? Something that a message that you really want to get across that no one's ever really asked you.
I don't know. I feel like I do a really bad job at showcasing my personality on social media because I just keep it so bland.
Well, yeah,
on
but
purpose.
you've done a real good job right now, though. Like, we're just having fun.
Well, yeah, because this is, like, on video and I'm just, like, in my element, whatever. But I don't know. On my social media, I do feel like my personality doesn't come across very much, and I feel like I'm kind of a fun person, and I'm, like, kind of silly and, like, I don't know.
What do you want them to see? What do you want them to know about Kate?
I don't know. I just would say, like, I think I'm, like, a really fun person. I'm a good friend. And I don't know, there's no good way of, like, showcasing that, really. I mean, I could be a little bit more absurd, but I'm always scared of saying the wrong thing or people not liking my real personality, so I kind of keep it toned down a lot. And I think, like, the few times, like, my personality has come out, it has been like that. Like, it's either, like, people are super supportive or they're like, what's going on here?
What parts of your personality?
I don't know. I'm very outgoing. I'm a little bit, I don't know. I'm very impulsive and very, I take risks. I'm not super, I don't know. It's just part of, I don't know. I'm very extroverted and, like, I like to have fun and go out and do stuff that, like, normal young people like to do. But I just don't put that across often because I don't want people to think I don't take my career seriously.
Yeah.
So I do think that it's hard for me because that part is necessary for me to take my career seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I didn't have that balance, I wouldn't be a weightlifter anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't wish I could, like, show that more because I honestly do want to be a good role model for kids and stuff like that. But, you know, I also want people to know it's okay to, like, go out and have a couple drinks every now and then and go on little trips to see your friends and be young and have fun, because, like, I was able to do that kind of more or less, like, not in secret, but, like, I just don't really showcase it a whole lot. And I was super successful in the last squad because I need that balance personally. I feel like people think when they start weightlifting or taking weightlifting super seriously that they have to say goodbye to, like, going out to eat and having a couple drinks and, like, hanging out with friends all the time. But, like, I feel like I don't really sacrifice much of my social life at all. In fact, I feel like weightlifting has enhanced it because I have so many more friends. I can come to California and hang out with you guys and, you know, opportunities I would never have socially just because of weightlifting. And I think it would be silly to live life solely for the actual lifting part. I like weightlifting for the community and all the people I've met, and the opportunities financially it's even given me. Like, I'm able to lift for a living and do social media, and it's super freaking fun.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't able to reap the benefits of that a little bit, like, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
You know, I can love it as much as I want, but there's more to life than having a barbell in your hands. And I try to balance it out. And when it's time to be an athlete, it's time to be an athlete. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can go hardcore when I need to, and I have, you know. But you know, in the off season or when I'm hurt, you know, kind of stuff like that. Like, it's okay to be young and have fun and do that. I think a lot of people lose that, and I feel like it's the reason a lot of people burn out and they can't stay in the sport for very long because it's hard. And I feel like if you don't have that balance, you're not going to be around for very long. So yeah, I guess that's something I wish I was a little bit more transparent about, because I do feel like the very few times when because I have my close friend story where I'm definitely more myself and I feel okay posting just about anything on that, but the very few times I'll post like a drink or something on my main story, I feel like every time I get like 10 people like, you drink alcohol? Like that kind of thing. And I do think it's kind of important for people to realize that we are normal people with normal habits, and no, I'm not going out and getting crazy at the club every weekend. Like, that's not sustainable for an athlete. But, you know, it is okay to be social and have fun, be a young person a little bit. I didn't go to college in the traditional way, you know. I didn't go to the frat parties and, you know, bars and all that kind of thing. So I did sacrifice that in a lot of ways, but, you know, I do think it's important to have a little fun. At least for me. Some people are cool with being just hardcore athletes. Me, no. Every time I've tried that, it's ended in disaster. And I hate weightlifting and I want to quit. That's what's happened every single time. Like over quarantine, like when that first was going down, I'm like, I'm just gonna throw myself into weightlifting, eat, you know, 100% on my diet and not do anything, and just, my only fun thing was that I would like play with my dogs. And I almost quit 4 months before the Olympics. I couldn't handle it, you know? So, I don't know. I just wish that people saw that I wasn't just like every time I do these seminars, people are always like, I'm surprised you're like normal. And I'm like, what? Like, I mean,
you're like just this person is only training all the time.
Yeah.
No like life.
I feel like people
outside of
actually
the
think
gym.
that. They think I like wake up, eat, lift, go home, eat, lift, go home, maybe read a book for fun that's about
That's all the fun that you do.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Like, people think that's how I live.
You go home, sit in an ice bath, and read a book while you're in your ice bath.
Seriously, and the
then you
book's
get out
all
of the sauna.
about motivation and how I'm gonna get up the next day and kill training guys.
Yeah.
Like, no, sometimes I go home and have a glass of wine and watch some trashy TV, you know?
Almost done with the sewing.
Holly homemaker over here.
What do you think, from your perspective of being one of the best, what's the thing you can tell somebody in that pursuit of it?
Believing that you can be, but realizing you have steps to get there. In like 2017, I told my coach I wanted to go to the Olympics, and he basically told me to shut up. And I'm grateful for that, because I didn't need someone to tell me I was good enough or I had the potential, because I mean, I kind of knew. And when you have potential and when you work hard, you know that, you know, you could maybe go big places, but if you focus way too much on the big thing, the Olympics, world champion, whatever it is, if you want to make it to nationals, if you focus only on that and you know you have to hit 20 other things before you get there, you're going to get overwhelmed and probably burnt out. And I've seen a lot of people, very young, bright stars in the sport, just gunning for the Olympics. And I just think their mentality is just not right. If you want to make it to the Olympics, you first need to make it to nationals. You need to medal at nationals. You need to win nationals. You need to make your first Pan Am team. You need to make several world teams. You know, like you have to do all those things before you're even in the running for the Olympics. So I'd say my thing is like, believe in yourself. Like, keep that in the back of your mind. Like, some people say, like, don't even think about it until you're there. Like, I don't think that's true. Like, I think you need to, in the back of your mind, be like, this is where I want to be, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do it. But at the same time, focusing on those little things and going ham on that one thing you're going for. And then in the process, you'll make it. And then maybe you'll, you know, exceed your expectations. And then the next thing comes, and you exceed those expectations. And if you keep just taking every single step seriously and not thinking like, oh, this is just junior nationals, like, who cares, I want to be at the Olympics. Like, if you have that attitude, you're not going to have the attitude to make the Olympics, because sometimes the tedious things are what matters. Like, last quad was a perfect example where like every meet mattered. So getting yourself in that mental state of consistency and, you know, working really hard for every single step, those are good habits to make, and treating every single meet like it's the Olympics. I will tell anyone, the Olympics did not feel any different than my first meet ever, nerves-wise. Like, obviously, like, I felt a sense of pride and excitement, and there's a different nerve to, like, representing your country on that stage. But in reality, how nervous I was, how scared I was, how anxious I was probably more nervous my first ever meet. Like, so I think as you're growing in a sport, or you're growing in anything you're doing, like, take it seriously. Every step matters, and no one that skips steps usually
cutting corners. It's like the stuff that you do when no one's paying attention.
Do you still have fun? Do you still have fun?
Weightlifting?
Yeah. Is it still?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sometimes it's even more fun than it's ever been.
How do you maintain that relationship with weightlifting?
It comes in waves, don't get me wrong. Like I said, 4 months before the Olympics, I was about to tap out and give the spot to someone else because I wasn't into it. And I thought I was taking it for granted too. And that was a big reason I wanted to quit, is because I'm like, I don't love this. Like, I'm not pumped for the Olympics. And I know several other people that would be. So, like, why would I be going in their spot? And I think identifying why you're feeling the way you're feeling and addressing it is the only thing you can do. You can just wait for it to pass, but if you're very not happy weightlifting, or not happy doing whatever you're doing, and you don't make any changes, like, you might not ever get it back. For me personally, I knew I needed to move on coaching wise, and I needed someone that was going to be more present day to day. And it had nothing wrong with my old coach. I just realized as I was growing in the sport, I needed someone with eyes on me more often. And as soon as I had that, and as soon as I felt like I was making progress because I had a coach constantly watching my every lift, the fire came back, because I felt like I had more to give. Like, I kind of felt like I had peaked before, and as soon as I switched to Spencer's gym, I was like, I don't even know what I'm capable of anymore. Like, we're making so much progress in so little time. But that's just one example. There's been other times, you know, like, I was cutting too much at the beginning of my career when I was cutting to 63. And kind of same thing, I was starting to get burnt out, wasn't sure if I wanted to do it anymore. What was the problem? I was constantly cutting, and I was miserable, and I wasn't getting stronger because I wasn't allowing myself to gain the muscle I needed to at that point in my career. So I went up a weight class. So there's kind of stuff like that. I think figuring out why you're not feeling good and addressing it and giving it an honest shot is super important. So, yeah, that's about it.
Is that what you would say to somebody who is burnt out? That's your advice directly to them?
Figure out why. And change it, even if it's scary. Like, moving up a weight class is probably one of the biggest ones I can tell a lot of burnt out athletes need to move up a weight class. Like, I see so many people cutting every other month for competitions, trying to make nationals or whatever, and I'm just like, dude, no wonder you're burnt out. You're competing too much, you're cutting too much weight, and you're not getting stronger. Like, of course you're going to be burnt out. You're miserable. That's how it is. But I also think that enjoying weightlifting for what it is, like, that first year or two is just like a high, because you're constantly getting better, and you need to change your relationship with the sport. Like, you can't just be like, it only is important to be a weightlifter if I'm PRing once every couple months. Like, at my point in my career, I'm like 7-8 years in now, and PRs are few and far between. But, you know, technical changes, not as much, you know, like things start feeling easier. I start feeling more confident on stage. For example, at the Arnold, like I didn't set a single PR, but I went 6 for 6, which is something I never do, you know? So like stuff like that, like consistency wins. There's other ways to measure getting better than just PRs. And like my stage presence is a big one. Like I just feel confident. Like I'm not scared I'm gonna bomb out every meet like I used to. Like every meet before the Arnold, I'm like, I could bomb out, you know? Even at the Olympics, I was scared I was gonna bomb out. So, I don't know, just realizing that there's other ways to make progress and other ways to enjoy the sport. Because I can say competing is so much more enjoyable when you're not scared of bombing out the entire time. Like, I was genuinely having fun.
Cool. So we have our belt loops and then the tab for the buckle done. Now we just need to go sew this thing so so we can add a little bit of like, make sure it sticks, and then it'll be like a little accent piece on the belt.
Yeah, I can do that. My coach, my first coach, Josh, he had a saying that he always said, and it was like on his, in our garage gym that we trained in, he had it like little stickers of it on the platform. I don't even think it was his saying, but it was just something that really stuck with me throughout the years, is like, work like hell, you'll get there. And it was just kind of like what I was just saying earlier, like keeping that big thing in mind, and working really hard along the way. It's a silly little thing and it's simple. Like, yeah, just work hard and you might get there. But like, I don't know, it is something that I was squatting so often on that rack, and those words were just on the platform, and I don't know, they just meant a lot to me, and they've stuck with me throughout the years. Like even now I think about it sometimes. So it's simple but effective, I guess, because I've thought about it a lot over the years. I don't know, started lifting with those words on the platform when I was like 16, and I don't know, that's just what comes to mind. I'm sure more inspirational words have been said to me, but I don't know, nothing that's really like one thing someone said like stuck with me like that one has.
What's something that you hope someone can take from you?
For me personally, I feel like kind of like a defining thing in my career was being an underdog all of last quad. And then this quad, it seems like I'm about to be the underdog again because of my injury. Like I was supposed to be the one that's fighting people off, but now I'm trying to get back to it. So I think believing in yourself when a lot of people are rooting against you or don't think you can, I think it's just something. A little cartoon over there.
Oh, I drew that.
I'm a talker, don't get me wrong, but like something about like monologuing makes me want to die a little bit.
I'm just letting you go.
I know, but this is just what I do.
That's fine. How do you, for women in a sport that isn't female dominated, or just women in general, what do you think you can say that would allow them to keep going and keep pushing, keep going towards the things that they want to do and achieve?
It's a good question. I've been pretty lucky where like I was a gymnast before a weightlifter, so like I've always kind of been in, you know, sports where women are very supported. In fact, probably more so than the men in each sport. So like I've been very lucky that I've been talented in those kinds of sports. But I do feel for people, like specifically like U.S. women's soccer or like the WNBA. Like it's just absurd how much of a discrepancy there is in finances and support, and every little aspect of their sport is just dominated by men, even if they're performing better than the men, and that's heartbreaking. But I think we live in a time where we can use our voices to, you know, share what we believe in and fight for what we believe in. And I think social media can be great in that way. So I think just using your voice when you can and working hard and proving that they deserve the same or even more than a man if they're working harder and they're doing better. I think it's just tough because it sucks. Like, there's not a lot to say because it just is one of those things where, like, that sucks. But I do know that in weightlifting, for example, like, we weren't always a female-dominated sport. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? We became Olympians in 2000. Like, we were not allowed to go to the Olympics as women until 2000 in the sport of weightlifting. And I think the crazy amount of change we've experienced throughout the past 2 decades has just been a testament to, like, us women in the sport have worked super hard. We've proven our spot in the sport. We've shown American weightlifting that we can be competitive. And I think that I'd hope that it could be recognized in other sports too. So, and also, like, support women's sports. One of my favorite questions to ask a guy is, I think it's very telling, is like, who's your favorite female athlete? You know how many men will just, like, blank stare? Or say, like, Simone Biles? Which is cool. Like, no hate to Simone Biles, but, like, I don't know, if you like soccer, watch some women's soccer. You know? That kind of thing. So, I think there needs to be, like, a cultural shift, too. Because there is something to that. Like, no, people aren't attending WNBA games like they are attending NBA games. And, like, I do wish that women were supported more, because on the weightlifting scale, right, I feel like people show up more to the women's events than the men's events at USA weightlifting events, yeah? I'd say so, right? For the most part. Besides if maybe, like, CJ is competing, or maybe Wes. Most of the time, the women's events are the ones that people go to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really cool. So yeah, support your women. It's just like, you made it look so much easier.
You can, like, twist it to the side so it's like...
Does it look good? I feel like it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you love it?
I love it. Made with love.
Made with love.
This will fight.